Hi, it's Chris here, and I'm here to bring you another video about Alchemy stars. Now, today we're going to talk about another new game mode that actually Tour Dog brought into this game, and that is Pandora's Box. Now, a lot of kind of YouTube videos have popped up over the last week, just kind of showing loads of clears, but I thought it'd be a good idea just to kind of explain what it is and kind of give some tips of what I've kind of experienced and seen from videos and my own experience as well. So Pandora's mode is the new mode which they've added in for chapters 11 and 12. And you unlock Pandora's mode from completing chapter 11, and then you unlock Pandora's box, for that chapter, and then to unlock Pandora's box for chapter 12, you have to complete chapter 12. And once you get to this Pandora's box, you've kind of got a set of rules and stages. So you've got at least 2 stages, but some actually have 3, in which you can actually clear a trophy, like kind of achievements for you to do. And the only way you can do these is by actually kind of having multiple teams. Now, you don't have to clear all these stages all at the same time. You can kind of do one trophy, do it, and then reset the teams, and then do another trophy, and then try to aim for another trophy. Now, most of the stages, they have obviously just completing them is just normally a trophy, but the other sets of trophies are really quite difficult. They kind of require you to have all of one kind of element, so you kind of really need to kind of really actually make sure you've got lots of kind of characters around. And it's something that Tour Dog have been building up. Actually, I feel like, they when the game came out, we have Secret Territory, which again is something that you use lots of different characters for. Then you've got things like Calamity Codex, and they've encouraged us to do this where we've got multiple teams. And if you've got a team with that counter element, then you can do more damage with Calamity Codex. And the same thing with Simulation Mode. You can only use your favorite characters more than once. So you're kind of Tour Dog have really been actively encouraging players to kind of have as many characters as they can, or use as many different characters. And so this kind of mode actually is kind of almost feels like something we should have seen coming, because yeah, they've just really been trying to hammer home that actually you can't just kind of get away with this game just by using 5 or 6 characters. They've actually been trying to push us to having multiple characters at a time. But anyway, so in terms of what I've kind of seen, and this is just my opinion, again, you can have your own idea of what you want to do. There's just some kind of really key things. So the very first thing that you just kind of have to have, and you can't really do this mode without it, is you've got to have at least, like, taking away the 3-star characters, you've got to at least have about 80 characters. Mixtures obviously 6, 5, and 4s. And you want as many characters as possible on A3, Ascension 3. And this is something I started doing in about February, actually. I don't know why I decided to do it one day, but clearly it's now starting to kind of pay off. So here's, like, for instance, my water elements, and I've got 6, almost 12, 15 characters at A32, and they've all got level 10 equipment. But the rest here are all kind of A3, so they're all usable. They can all deal damage. Same thing with the fire team, with my fire elements. So it gives you lots of flexibility. Plus, some of the sub-stages trophies require you to have an Illumina Federation or some sort of faction. And it was even so that this was the first time I ever even though I had Ascension Freedom, it was the first time just doing these stages, these trophies. First time I ever used Benny and Kuro and Cordy, because they were Illumina Federation. But even they were able to do some good damage while they were fighting, because they were A3. So I would definitely say one of the most important things is you've got to have as many characters as possible. You'll probably almost potentially need most of your roster, like at least for flexibility purposes, just in case you do need 3 or 4 snipers, or you do need whatever type you might need, or whatever faction set of characters you need. And it does help if they are A3, because then they can contribute to damage, because if they're not, the amount of damage that they do would just be negligent. So it's almost like you're kind of fighting with 4 characters. Tip number 2, I would say, is when you are doing Pandora's box and you're choosing which stage you want to do, you really, really want to kind of do the hardest stage first. So, for instance, this boss level one, which had three sub stages, I started with the hardest level first. Now, if you click on it here, it tells you actually, recommended ascension level 3, level 50. Compare it to this one, and this one's level 20, and then this one's level 1. So they kind of told are aware of how, characters are progressing. You don't have to have every character level 80, but it's recommended the more you have at A3, the better. And yeah, I would say you do the hardest level first, because doing the hardest level first would mean that you can actually do, you got your strongest characters first, and then the levels get a little bit easier level wise. So that is definitely another good quick tip. It's what helped me do this boss 1 4 1 with 4 Luminous Federation characters, 5 Detonator Aurorians, and 5 Aurorians in one go. Compared to when I kind of failed hard doing this one, which I probably have to reset my teams for to do this one properly as well, the Thunder version of it. I guess another tip really, which I've noticed from lots of YouTube videos looking at other people and what they've done and what my experience as well, is when you are making your teams, you've really got to split your power a bit as well. Because again, yeah, you want your strongest characters at the top, but you can't put all of your level 80 characters in there, because you might need them for some other fights to help do damage, or you just don't want to put, like you say, all your eggs in one basket really. And so you kind of want to spread your strongest characters. I notice lots of people here will kind of put their strong characters either in the first and fifth slot, and then everyone else is there to kind of support with with converting or healing. And that kind of leads on to my third tip, which is not only do you want to split your ground characters, your strongest characters, but you want to split your converters and your healers. And that becomes a slight problem at times when there's only some elements only have about two healers or two dedicated healers, and then there's a few other characters which kind of work together or do a little bit of healing. So for instance, Icy has a little bit of healing, Victoria has a little bit of healing. And sometimes I've actually put them together in a team. That way they together they give you a decent amount of healing. So that's one other thing you kind of could do. You can figure out which characters you've got which can heal, even if it's a little bit, because that little bit can really matter. And again, with converters, you don't want to put all your converters into one kind of team. You want to really kind of try and split how you do that. So even if I showed, let me just choose a random one I completed. Here with my fire team, I put Maggie and Icy in one team, but then here I put Faust, Sharon, and Uriel in another team. So then it kind of still gave me a decent amount of converting in both. Here I put Sikari and Pact, but here I put Hero and Gabrielle together. So you can kind of try different combinations, because again that gives you flexibility and the chance to kind of go around and to convert across the field. Here I put Klecken and Carlene together, and then the other team I put Azul, Raphael, and Bethlehem together. So again, the converting was just split, which just allows you to be able to fight quite well on these stages. And then when it comes to actual fights themselves, they're mainly kind of dedicated to, you can kind of mainly brute force them, but the strategies you would use itself, or the way you should play, kind of depends on a few things. It kind of depends on the strength of the team and how much damage they can do. And it then also depends on how much healing that you've got, or how much of a beating you can take. Because if you can't take that much of a beating, then because obviously also you haven't got a healer with you, then, or your healing's really weak, then you've really got to kind of either burst very quickly, or you've got to be quite cautious and take your time about it. There are lots of turns, but even then you've got to watch out, because these stages only also have battlefield correct characteristics as well. So like this one, there were spikes kind of growing as well, and the really worst one is the day and night bruising abilities now, which kind of allow monsters to absorb bruising damage and heal it when the day and night changes. Absolutely beat him. But yeah, that would be the kind of main tips that I've got so far for Pandora's Box. Like I said, it's a very difficult mode. It is for endgame players. It is not for someone who has just begun or even kind of midway through their account. I would say, you would have unlocked Elysium by now, so that you would have all four legendary characters. I would say you've got to have obviously done chapters 1 to 10. I would say, if you can do Calamity Codex quite comfortably, then this is the kind of mode for you. But the most important thing, again, I'd like to say is you have to have as many characters as you can to A3. But yeah, and overall, I think this mode is an excellent, amazing mode, especially for like any players or people who've been playing for a long time. This is that exact challenge. It pushes our limits, and one of the most exciting things about it, which I've really loved, is the fact that we got to use characters where I was made to use the characters that I'd never used before. I'd never used Benny and Kuro before, and I'd never used Cordy, even though I'd leveled them up. But they were amazing because they were leveled up. That really helped you pass this mode. And yeah, that's the main thing really. Good luck with Pandora's Box, and let me know if this kind of helped in any way. And I look forward to any more videos in the future. Bye.